All right, so thank you to those who are here with us live. I know it's summer is kicking into effect, so I know it makes it a bit more difficult to join these calls. But thank you to those who are here and to those who are watching on the recording. I'm just going to share my screen quickly, and we can get started. Kristof, are you there? I think he's there, but he's muted. Okay, well, I will get started with the presentation then, and if Kristof becomes available, he can jump in as well. So this is our, well, technically our end of June project call on July 3rd. So thanks, oh, that's Kristof. So thanks to those, thanks for being here. Thanks for making time in your calendars. I'll just kind of quickly go over some of the slides. Well, actually, is that all right, Kristof? I can start, or do you want to go through some of these slides?
No, most of those we've done. No, I'm fine. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, just if you want to set the stage at all.
Okay, I can do that, of course.
Yeah, let's stop sharing.
Okay, then we see some videos. Welcome, everyone. It's going to be a very busy summer. We're going to share some slides with you later. Theo is here also on the call, who is part of our group working on what we call Project Inca. And Project Inca is our launch of the ThreeFold Grid 4.0, which we have talked about before. And a lot of work has been done by that team, a lot of talks with all kinds of partners and people and so on. And we'll give you, they came up also with a narrative and a new deck. So yeah, I can share it, or Theo can share it, because I know he needs to leave soon. And then it would be nice to have your feedback on it. Independent from Project Inca, which we will go over, there are some, what we're really focused on right now is the commercialization and making the grid more SLA ready. And SLA stands for service level agreement, which basically means we're getting more and more requests from people who want to use this for larger workloads. But there are two main things which we want to resolve. One is that we don't have enough nodes. We're making a plan for ThreeFold Grid 4.0 to go to 1 million nodes, which is probably what we think we should kind of aim for if we want to compare us with a Google and an Amazon and so on. And the second thing we now need to improve on is how can we make sure that everyone has a very good set of expectations around uptime, connectivity, reliability of a farmer, being able to pay with US dollar, KYC requirements, governance, these kind of things. So these are the two main things. But yeah, it's actually quite exciting. We're talking with a lot of possible friends and partners in that DePIN space. And I have to say that maybe we might have been 10 years too early when we started working on this project. I won't even in the previous company. But right now it looks like people really start realizing that there is a need for a true decentralized cloud on top of which they can build. And we're working on some very exciting partnerships where people want to leverage our layer to themselves deploy on. I guess we were just a little bit too early. Anyhow, back over to you, Sam, or to the slides. And please, guys, this is a call, it's your call. So anything you want us to talk about, make this interactive. We can go there and make it nice for everyone, right? Sam?
Great. Yeah, we should have time based on the slides today to answer questions. So obviously, if you have them, please leave them in the chat. One of us can respond there, or we can respond on the call at a stopping point. So yes, I'll just share quickly. I mean, these are slides. If you joined us for our last call, you would have seen them, but it's important for us to reiterate some of these points for people who might be watching for the first time. I think everyone hopefully by now knows what ThreeFold is, but this slide talks a little bit about that. We're an open source, decentralized autonomous cloud. The technology is in its third generation across nodes in more than 55 countries and a ton of capacity, all thanks to our independent our community of farmers. And the team as well is bringing lots of experience for the past 30 years working in cloud automation, internet storage, these types of fields. What we feel and what we know and what is becoming clearer and clearer, as Kristof pointed out through conversations and just the reality of the space and where we are today, is that ThreeFold is really presenting this missing layer 0, or what we call sometimes now a base layer, for any type of digital and anything digital. So when it comes to Web 2, Web 3, metaverse, these are some of the areas that we believe we're quite ready for, as well as AI workloads. Scott and Meek did a demo recently on AI workloads through CPU. We have another demo coming in August around AI workloads running on GPU. So we really feel that this is where ThreeFold sits. As Kristof spoke about, we're currently in the expansion phase, so obviously not quite yet. We're preparing the plans for this type of expansion, but over the past 10 or more years, we've developed the technology, Zero-S, the operating system, the custom blockchain, and through a period of expansion, we've grown to, as I mentioned earlier, about 55 countries and lots of capacity. And so really these days we're in that phase of, well, I would say for grid 3, making it more reliable and more available. For grid 4, going more towards a commercial direction, SLAs, supportability, all of this. And the future, well, the future is, phase 4 is coming next, so I won't go too far into that one. What we've done for V3 is really a focus on cloud tech, right? So this is really about around preparing the technology readiness. And so you can see there's lots of green on this slide, which shows you that ThreeFold is really very close to the level of being ready from a technological standpoint. When it comes to V4, most of the focus is around becoming cloud operational. So this is around scalability. As Kristof mentioned, if we want to be a credible alternative to centralized entities like Amazon and Google, we need a lot more nodes out there. And also we need a lot of reliability. So today, obviously, there's some factors that make the grid, let's say, less reliable in some ways than one of the centralized alternatives. But we know that for grid 4, what we need to focus on is ensuring that large and small customers, grid users alike, are having reliable service from the grid. And this is just a quick comparison, not to put them as comparisons, but just showing the progression of grid 3 and grid 4. As I'm sure many of you have seen the slides before, but grid 4 again is really about going into the DePIN space, commercialization, an introduction of a new token, which is compatible across both versions, SLAs, KYC to ensure that there's, again, that reliability and more, let's say, flexibility for farmers, allowing them to set their own prices and so on. So again, Inca project internet capacity is highly anticipated, I'm sure, by all of us. Just to reiterate, the team will only go forward once they have the proper, let's say, support to ensure that the launch is effective, and not just the launch is effective, but that there's a sustainable and healthy ecosystem that can follow. So that's the quick intro. Let me switch it over to, I believe, Scott or Meek. I forget which one of you said that you could present.
I'll jump in here. Yeah, so we have 314 coming out to Mainnet. This was just passed through GAP, our vote of the farmers. And we have focus here on stability, reliability, and there's a few things coming with mycelium and hard drive nodes. There's more detail on the next slide, so let's go.
Yeah, let me just switch to the next slide. Yeah.
So there's a lot here, and I won't read all of it, but a few of the highlights, again, are stricter health checks when filtering for nodes to deploy on. So this should make it easier for users to find nodes that have the kinds of properties that they're looking for in terms of being available and being able to run and host their workload. ZOS will be able to download and mount FLIS over Mycelium IPs. And this is part of a larger effort we have to make the hosting and delivery of FLIS, which is how VM images are delivered to the ZOS nodes, make this more flexible. So at some point soon, users will be able to host their own FLIS in a very simple way from anywhere that they want to and provide these links to ZOS. It's already possible today to give custom FLIS link to ZOS, but this will become easier and more flexible. We're going to have support for hard drive only nodes. This is needed for one of our partners. So you'll be able to boot a node with only hard drives inside. And we also have support for running VMs with the hard drive as their root file system. Again, this is a requirement of one of our partners. So that will be change versus today, where every node needs SSD and every root file system runs on SSD. And in terms of TF chain and GraphQL, that will be updates supporting what's coming in ZOS essentially. We also have our validation coming for our IPs, which is a nice thing that we get questions about sometimes. The grid proxy will have more filtering in terms of GPUs, region, IPv6. So this will be helpful again for being able to find the right nodes when you're going to make a deployment. And Farmer Bot, one cool thing that we have is a priority feature for farmers that will allow them to choose the order in which their nodes wake up to receive workloads if they have a preference in terms of the nodes that are most power efficient, typically is the request that we hear about here. Also, the Pulumi provider will be updated to support Mycelium, and there's more examples and documentation there.
Gobblesby.
I think that's everything I want to say about 3.14.
Yep. Thanks, Scott.
Right, it's a little bit of a dry list. Anyone, any remarks? We will get to some exciting things, of course, as well. Not that this is not exciting for technical people, it's very exciting, but I can imagine for many of us, not right now. But that's a big,
read the whole
that's
list.
a lot of super cool features, you know, and thank you, Scott, and Mick and everyone else to make that reality, and the development team, of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you. So, Kristof, do you want to cover the 3.15?
Sam, I was wondering maybe I could interject just because
Sure. Go for it.
I've got a flight to catch soon, and I wanted to just say something about the Inca launch and what the Inca team are doing behind the scenes for everyone. So for those of you that don't know me, my name's Theo Chapman, and I'm helping on the Inca side with a team of experts to launch this, the new token with the DePIN narrative. And we're working on a lot of different things in our go-to-market strategy, which include, refining tokenomics, refining the liquidity strategy, choosing the right blockchain to launch this on as well. Also, doing various other things like DEX for VCs that may want to participate and get involved in the new launch. So, Kristof, Florian, and lots of members, and Sam and Mick, lots of members from the ThreeFold team are collaborating with the people who have been hired externally from the Inca team to roll this out. And yeah, it's looking very positive. We're building as much as we can and aiming to execute as fast as we can. But I thought, important to hear it from somebody working on the team just before I have to go. And I'm sure Kristof will have further updates as well.
Thanks, Theo. Safe flight, huh? I appreciate it.
Yeah, he needs to jump on a flight, so thank you to you. I'm still jumping on. Okay, so guys, these are what some people. But where is my screen? You see my screen?
Yeah, we see this. We see the presentation.
This is not final. We're just showing it so you can give updates, and please don't be shy and send it to any of us. Will forward it. So this is done by the team, right? This is not and their thinking, because it's a specific market with a specific narrative. DePIN stands for decentralized decentralized physical infrastructure, and that's of course what we are. And the idea of being the mother of that kind of infrastructure is really about, look, we were doing this way before anyone was calling it DePIN, right? And that's kind of true, and more than ever people realize that. I'll walk through it quite quickly. We can maybe also share it with you guys on the chat later. And of course, we're being helped, right? AI is growing tremendously. Some people are saying that we will need more than $1 trillion in hardware. And that's absolutely insane. $1 trillion. We sometimes forget how much a trillion is, right? But if you make the math divided by the number of people in the world, then you kind of realize how much money that is actually. And that's what they want to do, because it's this quest for hyperintelligence, or whatever we want to call it. And I heard some very interesting statistics. Next to GPU, which is only about 30–40% of the total, a big part will have to go to compute and storage, because actually we will need more and more compute to use the information from AI and feed it back. And it's going to be a very, very interesting period. So AI will definitely help us to thrive. AI, metaverse, and you see again how the growth is. This is a teaser deck, which is going already to some investors, which the team is having conversations with. So the demand is like absolutely phenomenal, and it's growing super fast. And then you have DePINs. There are lots of them, right? And this is growing, but pretty much all of them run at protocol level. What does that mean? They talk to each other, sending messages to each other, sharing a data structure often, and they need to live on top of something else. And that something else right now is centralized. Pretty much all of these projects use servers or cloud from centralized providers. And that's, I think, where our big narrative is. So I'm very curious to hear what you think about this name. Again, like I said, this is not coming from ourselves, but from people working on this, which is this base layer 0. So the idea is, I'm just trying to represent what they explained is that we are this base layer on top of which the DePIN ecosystem can build. So layer 0 would be like this sovereign internet using Mycelium, which is an incredible new feature we have. On top of that, you then have the cloud hosts, which is our nodes, if you want, right, which is the cloud. And then DePIN protocols can deploy on top of it. And to demonstrate that this can go to very big sites, and that it works like, they call this hub spoke, which basically means you make sure that you have the right amount of capacity close to where the internet backbones are. Then you go to the super hubs and you go down. So we have all of that for years. So basically we're ideally positioned to help everyone who needs a lot of capacity. You know our past, so we don't have to go there. And then we defined a number of nodes. This will be a decentralized ecosystem, right? So it's not like ThreeFold only who will sell some nodes, for sure not. But we identified 4 buckets. In the future, there will be smaller nodes and bigger nodes, even much smaller nodes, and also routers, by the way, because that will also be part of the system. And here we have some nodes defined. The biggest one has a very serious GPU inside, 4,900. And now we're looking in how to do this best. And yeah, very excited that we're working on expansion again. So we hope somewhere this summer to launch that. There's a cool team behind. These are just some names, but very nice people who have been working for Coinbase, Helium, market makers. It's a very diverse team. Some advisors and community managers and so on. This is about the world records. Again, let's not forget, this is a deck which we want to keep simple for investors to then go into. So we just explained then that we have done some cool stuff before, and then we get into the fundraising. So there will be a 3-phase fundraise. In total, we aim to fundraise more than 30 million. We got positive response from people that this might be well possible for the stage we're in and what we have already accomplished, and also the nice projects we have already realized and the traction we have. So the idea would be to do a 7.5 first round, which we want to close over summer. All of that then goes into like marketing, engineering, liquidity, of course. And then after that, there will be 2 more phases to bring us there. I think this is still a little bit too aggressive. So we're talking about it, as you can see. But July, August, I think we should get the seed round done, and then maybe the other rounds very closely after that, right? So that's kind of the idea. So that's basically the deck we would send around. Okay, there are more slides still being worked on. Not even sure they will go either. At least right now, we don't send them out to investors, but that slides we already have where we explain where is the magic, how does it work. It's all peer-to-peer and so on. But we're still working on these things to then basically create this base layer. But these slides aren't done yet. Any feedback so far, or you guys want to take some time to closely look at it? And I also promised you I would show you something else very exciting, but unless there is something you want to talk about now, then we can go to that little thing I have prepared.
Starting than that,
People-
that was pretty exciting.
Yeah, good. Now it's getting somewhere. The summer is going to be hot. Okay.
Hopefully.
Look, we were last week in Dubai, and we showed we're talking with 3 different types of partners right now. There are the hardware partners, where we're not that far yet with, which is about, I mean, if you want to go to so many nodes, who will be the right partners? Where do we find GPUs? Who wants to sell it? Stuff like that, right? That's one bucket of partnerships we are working on. Then there is a partnerships about deployment, which is really who needs a lot of capacity and who needs it now, and how much and where do they need the capacity and so on. And then the third bucket is in the DePIN ecosystem, which is going actually quite well, which is how can people build on top of us and can we resolve their problems. And there are quite some due diligence shadows.
Sorry, I just removed the screen for a second because it was just on a slide that was not relevant to what you were talking about.
And then so yeah, then over summer we will be talking mainly with those, and they're doing due diligence and they're testing and they're doing all kinds of things. So that's exciting too. Now, one of the things we realized is that there is one workload from one company. We have already shown it before. Last week we were offered 1,200 GPUs for someone who wants to put them into the field and make boxes with them, because there are lots of GPUs available because of Ethereum mining. And he said, what can you do with that? And that partner of us, they built a rendering streaming solution where a virtual reality environments are streamed video quality over the internet, being rendered in the cloud. And we did that in Dubai, and we showed it to these people. I cannot show you they did it for a real estate company. I can't show that because I'm in Zanzibar right now. And this only works if you have low latency. So I have a little video of what I can show, but some of you might already have seen it. But it shows you the quality, what we can reach with this partner. And this use case alone can eat up our capacity, right? That's the crazy thing about it. And there are many more of those. So what you see here is not a video. This is literally someone walking around in a virtual reality environment. It's being rendered in the cloud. Of course, we recorded it here, and then it's being streamed back. In Dubai, I did demos where we were like in a big building and showing how people could buy homes, and they could put change the paint on the wall. They could change tables. They could crazy. And you just walk around, and if you have glasses, you have super high quality. So this is I'm not sure how good Zoom is in streaming this, so I hope it is. But this is the quality we can achieve streaming from GPUs in the cloud, right? And of course, people can then develop their own environments. This is great for like education, for meetings, for, of course, real estate. That's what they did in the first instance. And it works on GPUs, which are not usable for AI yet, but they are usable for this use case. So that will be one like super nice use case, which will be running. What do you guys think?
Yeah, super
This is
cool.
crazy, yeah? How good this quality is. I hope it comes across over Zoom, but that quality is really crazy. It's like literally video quality being rendered on the fly, and you don't need a strong GPU in your phone or in your computer. So that's one thing we're very excited about. And related to that, There is another use case the same team does actually. Let me show you that one as well. Here, which is, where is it? Share. Where is it? Where'd it go? Man, here. How can I, do you see the other screen now? I hope so.
Yeah, we
You
see window screen.
Yeah,
Do you see
now,
that one which is turning around, or I'm still on the wrong tab?
No,
yes,
it's good.
Yeah.
The
So what I did, yeah, there's still some issue I see here on my browser, probably because I made it too small. But what these guys managed to do, which is really crazy, this can run over Mycelium, integrated with a browser, and they managed to bring this down so that even in emerging countries, it's actually working. You can go there yourself if you want, window.ai. This will be fully integrated with our grid. All like using Mycelium, super secure, end-to-end, lower latency, being close around you. And you can achieve like super good quality, zooming in, zooming out, doing videos. You can plant videos somewhere. You can jump around. An example, if I want to go to a meeting room, whoop, voila, I now go to that meeting room. Yeah, so it's all pretty cool actually. And it has AI attached to it. So you can go to like a virtual assistant. Where was that guy again? Was it launch maybe? Well, I forgot what it was. Yeah, you can like sit on a chair and then talk to someone, and you can ask questions and they would respond to you. And these guys use that for bringing people together, like more than 10,000 people at one go. So that's also like kind of nice use case, mainly for people who maybe can't travel or who can go to somewhere. So that's another kind of thing waiting to launch on top of us.
And you said it's specifically been tested in like low latency environments.
The
high.
Window.ai you can try yourself, right? It's still a beta, of course. The use case they now put it for is more like corporate kind of things. But we're talking in how to leverage those communities and do more things with that. But with that one you can play. It's already quite nice to try out. The first download will be a little bit heavy, and after that is cached. In the future that will be much better. The other one, the streaming, you can't test because you need a GPU close to you, right? That's the full thing. You can stream and get that super high quality, but then it's needed to have, yeah, and that's what telcos like, of course, because this needs a lot of bandwidth and it keeps it in the country though. And so yeah, that way you can have like super high quality to experience something neat, right? Good. Sneak preview. Wasn't planned.
Thanks, Kristof. Well, I think it's still on you because we were kind of coming up to the 3:15 highlights. If you want to jump back into the presentation.
Okay.
Do you need the link?
Yeah, please. So indeed, it's not the 4,900, it's the 4090. You're right. Thank you, Nelson, for bringing that up. The GPU I used to run.
I sent it to your Telegram, Kristof.
Thank you, Sam.
No worries.
P15, right?
Yes, please.
Okay. Look, we won't talk too much about technology because I know that's not as interesting maybe for everyone, but for the ones who are. And we can always do a separate session about that too. So we're preparing 3.15. I guess. Okay, let's bring it down a little bit. Projects, ThreeFold grid. Voila, 3.15. You can, whoever wants to join in and sort of talk about this, and this is how we manage our priorities, and then it goes to engineering. So as we explained before, most of the things we do have to do with uptime now, health checking, providing more insights. As an example here, we want to have a sort of 99.9% uptime project where we want to see everything going wrong so we can interact on the fly and get that uptime as high as we can. We're working on like things which are important to escalation matrix so we can work with more commercial people. Yeah, KYC, that's farming improvements. This we already talked about before. We were originally hoping to have it in 3.14, but it will be 3.15. But I know Mick and Scott and whoever will bring this up into the forums and we can talk about the improvements we want to do there. There is a new, it's not even on here, CI/CD system, which one of our engineers is working on, which will be used for a lot of our development and deployment, and that will be made available to the community as well. We're working on these stacks. That's, I think, is very important. Where is the stack thing? Which means that there will be at least
Bottom right.
5-6 stacks, and then each stack is like it's more than a validator, right? It's an explorer, a validator, a hub. It's all the different things. We have that running now. It's more like, how do we get it to people who want to do that? And one of the things we need to do there is rebuild the hub. The hub is where the images come from, so that decentralized people can do it themselves. Yeah, that's Nixos. That's for Holochain. We did that, but that's almost done. Network Mycelium is absolutely going fabulous. We have a client for Android. Yeah, Android we have. Apple actually. Apple also. Windows is almost done. iOS, I actually don't know. And now we need many more people to join it to see if we can break Mycelium, right? So Mycelium is our chance to all connect in the world, all find the shortest path with each other help, and over time Mycelium will be linked to billing as well, too, which is of course great. It's important we get a lot of exposure there because we're all going to rely a lot onto that piece of software. Yeah, faster loading of images, more support for farmers, more health checks, and so on. Look, I think that's enough for now. If you want, let us know. Then we include you into this thing, and then you can help us come up with the right priorities. So 314, the gap passed, I guess, tonight, and then yeah, one of the next days we will do the upgrade on mainnet for 314, which has also quite some improvements. Good. Back over to, I guess that's Mick now.
Great, thank you. Yeah, but you can, yeah, I'll share my screen. Mick, you want me to try to share my screen for you? This is just one slide.
Yeah, please just share it. It would be easier.
Yeah. All right. This is the wrong slide.
Yeah, so concerning the docs, there's been an amazing improvement by Kristof, actually. So the ThreeFold tech book, we'll share the links within the forums so you can have a look. But I think it really gives a clear overview of what ThreeFold is providing in terms of technology with compute, network, and storage. So we have even tables to compare with what's happening out there and the difference we have with the ThreeFold ecosystem. So I invite people to have a look at the book and even have a feedback if you have something to say. But I think it gives a good overview of where the project is at, and we will also use this as a base to make white papers. So it's easy for people to get on board and understand the whole project.
And the QSFS piece?
Yeah, so Scott and I, especially Scott, is working on the quantum safe storage guide. So this will be really good for people to try the technology, and it will be really from A to Z all the steps to deploy quantum safe storage on Linux. So this should be shared in the coming days. There are still some issues that we found out, so we'll have to fix this before we put the guide there. But it's being worked on.
Great. Well, this is, yeah, I can just quickly cover this. I mean, just Scott and Meek over the past 2 months have been doing some quite some demos twice a month, and these are the 2 most recent demos that were held. One was on deploying WordPress and one on AI ML workloads, specifically on CPU. This month, we already covered project internet capacity, so quickly, I'll just show this slide. This month, we have a demo on deploying Nextcloud and also on TF Robot. So looking forward to those. We're always open to feedback on demos, on what you want to hear from us and learn about. And then just quickly, one last update from me before we open it to any questions. So as always, we share a bit about what's happening on the ground. In this past month, there were a couple of different events that we participated in. So on the left, top left, you see Kristof with Matthew from Holochain, and the 2 of them were presenting on, actually, I don't remember what you're presenting. So I think it was on public goods, public goods at Zanzalu, which was the spin-off of Zuzalu from last year. Additionally, there was a summit held here in Zanzibar at the beginning of last month called Transformative Impact Summit. This was quite an exciting event. Lots of, let's say, people working in impact from around the world, from all, within Africa or outside of Africa came together. So Kristof and Flo both presented there. And we're also doing some visits with the IIT Madras. IIT Madras is a very well-known and university in India who's opened a campus here in Zanzibar. So we're exploring opportunities to collaborate together. And that was a photo from that visit. So I think that kind of wraps it up. I mean, just to kind of echo what's been said, there's a lot of positive momentum going on these days. I think basically what's the biggest priority for us in the coming month, well, one of the biggest priorities is definitely to go on that expansion path in order to better service current and future partners that are operating at a large scale, let's say. And yeah, we're looking forward to what's coming up. Are there any questions, comments, feedback before we jump off?
It seems like there is one in the chat, son.
I'm curious to know your point of view about Africa itself and building the bridge from there into Europe. I'm not sure. I mean, you're asking more or less about the focus, our current focus in Africa, or?
Yeah, like what has been your experience on moving forward and the progress you've been able to achieve because of being in Africa itself? I'm curious about what's your point of view on Africa itself as being the ground from where you are making this progress.
Well, I can speak from my standpoint. I don't know if Kristof is still around to answer from his perspective, but I think for us, I mean, Africa has always been, Africa, and not just Africa, but any emerging region has always been important to ThreeFold and the ThreeFold mission. So for us, having part of the team based down here in Zanzibar and working closely with the governments of Tanzania and Zanzibar, it allows us to really create that impact that is kind of quite crucial for the mission. It doesn't limit us from participating in activities in other parts of the world. I mean, last week, Kristof was in Dubai with another co-founder, Adnan, and they were busy there. And as well, we do have activities in Europe, but I think for us, it's been quite important, an important step. And we're proud to be here and to be have the opportunity to create impact in a region where yeah, they've been traditionally left behind. So I think with the digital era that is happening and coming, it's important that projects like ours situate ourselves in not just Africa, but any developing regions and create the impact that the technology really can create. So that's my 2 cents. Okay,
Thanks.
well, great. Yeah, great question. Also, thanks for sharing. Kristof, do you have anything to add to that one?
No. We love emerging countries, we love Africa, we love the world. No, it's all good.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you all for joining. We'll share the recording and the slides and any relevant documents from the call in the next couple of days. And again, just a reminder, next week there will be a demo on Nextcloud, and we'll share again that those events as they're coming up in the chats. So thanks all for joining, and have a great rest of your day. See you.
Thanks, everyone.